What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy Mav, and I just wanted to check in, you know what I'm saying, and kind of give you guys my whole thought process on this whole shooting with Jacob. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Jacob Black, I think. I can't really remember, so I'm not even gonna try to remember. The young man in Wisconsin who was shot down. Now is paralyzed from the waist down because you're hiring fucking psychopaths to patrol our streets. Um, the Bucks decided to boycott Game 1, which I think is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. The NBA has absolutely nothing, zero, to do with what the hell happened in Wisconsin. They've been bending. This is what I say about militant black people, right? They can't hurt the people who are actually attacking them. So they tend to turn their ire towards the people who actually are helping them fight. Right? Why the hell would you boycott the NBA game? These people have been bending over fucking backwards to try and fix this situation so that they can show these people that they care about this issue, and they're bringing a lot of issue at their own detriment. These people are getting angry at them, and they're still holding fast, and they're still standing in the corner and still standing in the fire with you guys. And so you turn around and bite these people who have been doing nothing but bending over backwards. Yes, I know that monetarily it helps them to do this, because you guys wouldn't come otherwise, right? You guys wouldn't come here otherwise. So it makes sense why they're doing it. So don't get me wrong on that. I understand they're only doing it for monetary gain, or maybe a part of it is monetary gain. I wouldn't say all of it is. I think a lot of them do actually care about these issues, because if you are in a sport that requires you to be around African Americans and respect and talk to African Americans as equal, you tend to see things differently than a lot of these dickhead conservatives who don't ever come across a black person in their entire life and then come back and speak on black issues as if they're doing it from a nuanced point of view. That being said, right, we're talking about people who in the NBA who did not deserve. Why are you boycotting them? They have absolutely nothing to do with what happened. Nothing. Zero to do with what happened with the cop. They've actually been working way harder than any other place to try to show that they're a part of Black Lives Matter, even though I hate Black Lives Matter. But they're showing that they have an affiliation, and they're not running away from their affiliation with Black Lives Matter. And you boycott them? You boycott them for what? And I heard George Hill say that. Oh, well, we shouldn't be here. What the hell are you gonna do? This is what gets me the most, right? I understand basketball players are influential, but they're not influential to everybody. They're only influential to people who care about basketball, and they only really care about them as basketball players. They don't give a shit about their thoughts on the world. Okay, so I think he's giving himself way more credit than he deserves. Secondly, nobody who cares about this issue is not caring about this issue because basketball is on. I'm sorry, you're not that important. Okay? You are not going to make people forget about all the issues that go into these black lives, to these police brutality and what's going on in America. You will not change that. I care about those issues, and the fact that I watch the NBA for an hour and a half to 2 hours, it's not going to change the fact that I'm a black man in America and I care about these issues. If you're a person who lives and understands the plight of the African American in this country, then you're going to do that. But what really gets under my skin is this idea. Who the hell are you trying to reach? Okay? I've said this about about many things in the past. If I have to tell you that I'm equal to you, I'm wasting my breath. Because if I have to show someone why they're not better than me, then they're too dumb to understand anything I got to say. Because if you can't live in this world to adulthood and not understand that there is not a damn thing on your body that makes you smarter and more capable than another person, Now, do I think there's a hell of a lot of jealousy of the African American community? Damn right, there's a hell of a lot of jealousy of the African American community, right? And I understand that that underlying jealousy leads to a lot of these dickhead cops who were nobodies in high school. You know what I'm saying? Half of them probably tried to play sports, couldn't play because the black guys were taking all the possessions and they couldn't play anything, and so they were relegated to JROTC or some shit like that. Then they get out of high school, jump into the law force. They ain't never been respected for a damn thing they've ever done in their entire life. Now you giving them a badge and a gun? And all of a sudden, you're giving a person who never done anything, never achieved. I feel like when you see guys who come back from like military and stuff, those dudes are like the coolest cops, right? The ones who had to serve over in other countries, then they come back and be cops. Those dudes are always like the coolest people because they've been in real war territory. They've been in real bad places before, and they understand it. They've been in a situation, and they're just happy to be patrolling a place in which their life is not in immediate danger at every second. Right? They understand the difference between what these cops portray as their life and what it actually is when you're a foreign soldier in a war-torn territory. Those people understand what it's like to patrol, knowing that every day someone's going to kill you just because you're a cop. Right? And then they come here and they're like, this shit is a cakewalk. I'm just sitting in my car, you know what I'm saying, 90% of the time and breaking up menial shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm breaking up gunfights or I have to worry about somebody bombing my truck. You know, I'm walking a beat. This shit ain't even hard. But those guys who are bitches, who ain't never done nothing in their life, you taking a bunch of suburban kids. This is what trips me out. This is why I think they need to destroy the police union, right? The police union is constructed of a bunch of suburban white dudes who are hiring other suburban white dudes. Now, here's the problem when you do that. Suburban white dudes are definitely afraid of hood African Americans. They have been their entire life. They are two things. They're either defiantly afraid or they're afraid. Defiantly afraid means they don't want to admit they're afraid. So they start to do all this macho shit to try to show to themselves that they're not afraid of African Americans. Those are the ones who usually end up getting their ass kicked in high school by an African American dude because they talk a lot of shit and are race. They're not racist. They're just jealous of black people. So whenever a black person says something to them, they think it's a man competition. So they take shit overboard and they always end up getting their ass kicked by some African American because they'll say some shit they know they're not supposed to say because they're trying to test the waters and try to be like, oh, just because you're black doesn't mean you can fight. Well, 9 out of 10 times when you're black and you're from a low income area, you generally can fight. You know why you can fight? Because you have to fight all the fucking time. So you are a person who is seasoned, who fights all the time, and you're dealing with this suburban white kid who probably has never been in a fight in his life. So this guy who's had to scrap for every freaking inch he's gotten in life, now you gonna come and think that you're gonna stand up and understand what it's like. You don't want to get hit. You're gonna be afraid of getting punched. You're gonna be afraid of getting hurt. He's not. He's been punched and kicked and freaking done wrong by his parents, by his peers, by everybody around him. He's kicked the shit out of him his entire life. And you think you're gonna stand up to him, a guy who's afraid to take a punch and be able to fight him head on? The reason why that shit looks so lopsided is because the white dude cares more about protecting himself from getting hit than hitting. The black guy don't give a shit about getting hit. He doesn't care. He just attacks. That's why he looks so much more violent. That's why he looks so much more, because he has less to give a shit about. He doesn't care about getting hit. He's been getting hit his entire life. So you take a lot of these suburban kids who have they're not hardcore. These are the bitches. You know what I'm saying? Most of them ain't never, most of them, the worst thing that don't happen to them in their entire freaking life is not getting into college. Right? Now you're going to take this failure of a human being, a lot of them, not all of them, because like I said, a lot of them are not bad dudes. Most of them wanted to be a cop. Their dad was a cop. And so some of them are, not all of them are like this. But the dickheads, you can tell the dickheads. They're the ones that were in high school. When black people walk by, they move the fuck out of the way. Right? They moved out of the way, and they had to live like that their entire life because they were afraid of black people their entire fucking life. Now you give them a badge, and you send them into a war to these fucking gang-infested, crime-infested neighborhoods where 90% of the people in the neighborhood are not criminals. 90% of the people in the neighborhood are good people. And they never committed a crime in their life. I grew up in the hood. 90% of the people there are good people. They would never hurt a fly. But you have 10% of them who are fucking psychopaths, right? So who are, and most of them are not even like the white people, kids who just get picked on and then come to school and shoot up the whole fucking school and kill everybody because one dude picked on you. No, these guys are guys who are fighting for supremacy, right? These are the people who have said, bump this society, it does not care for me, fuck the world, let it burn, right? Those are the guys in the ghetto, right? Those psychopaths are those guys that say, fuck the world, let it burn. They don't care about living in the system. They don't care. They don't care if they get killed tomorrow. They don't care. They don't value their life, and they don't value anybody's life around them, right? Those people are a small minority in the ghetto. The vast majority of people are good people who wake up and try to survive in a system that was not set up for them to survive in. And that's just the fucking fact. They were not supposed to survive. We are not supposed to survive in this society. Everything in this society is set up by screening personality. And when you have been depicted as dumb, illiterate, incapable of thinking and having rationalized thought, you're over emotional, you're angry, you're mad. This is all negative stereotypes attached to being an African American that most races, whether they be white, black, even other black people, see you that way. If you are lying to your core, if you're a black person who walks up to another black person and you're in an altercation and don't already be ready to fight that black person. Because even black people see that shit. I grew up around black people my entire life. And I have to curb that. Because the first thing you think when you're messing with a black person is like that. It's like fucking with a lion, a tiger. You like, oh shit, if this get bothered, so he gonna go for it and I'm gonna go for it and we gonna be two banging niggas here. And we're ready to do that to our own people. We will do that without even thinking. We'll do it to our own people. So imagine what the white dude who's been definitely afraid of black people his entire life gonna do. He's gonna, except the difference is you are lying. You believe you're a lion and you going against another lion. He does not believe he's a lion. He believes he's a fucking antelope. He believes he's a prey. He's not a predator. He thinks he's not the highest. When it comes to masculinity, he does not think that him and you are on the same level. He thinks that he's overcompensating, meaning he thinks it, but he won't admit he thinks it. He keeps overcompensating by doing a bunch of shit that is dangerous. Who's ready to go to war. Bro, what are you doing? What a fucking... Sorry, got thrown off. Not a good segue. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But regardless, sorry, I got taken away. So he thinks he's dealing with another lion. When you do it, you like, this is, I ain't scared of you, you ain't scared of me. We can bang this out. Whatever you want to do, we can fight. I'm not gonna call the police. You're not gonna call the police. If we fight, we just gonna fight, right? Whoever the best man will win, right? Only difference is you might get, one person might have a gun and you end up getting shot and that goes crazy, right? And that's all terrible, right? You got the other side, like I said, you got these white cops who they've seen you as violent their entire life. Their entire life they've seen African Americans this way. And whether they want to admit it or not, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whenever they come across an African American, they anticipate them being aggressive, right? So normal things that anybody would do aggressively, if you come at them aggressively, they say, oh, black person. So if a white person does something aggressive, they're white. So in their mind, they're thinking, well, this is another white guy who can't control his temper. They do not see you as a race. They see you as a person. Asian does it? Well, that's weird. Asians usually aren't that aggressive. Hispanics, same deal as the black person. Oh, Hispanics, they're fiery, they're hot-tempered. when a Hispanic or African American does something, it's because they're criminals. They're bad people. They're bad. You're the one hanging people from fucking trees. You're the one bringing your children and standing up there taking pictures while you got dead bodies hanging from trees and then go to church on Sunday. But we're the ones inherently violent. We're the ones inherently evil. When you see these protests, they keep showing how dangerous all these protests. I ain't heard of one protester that's killed a cop. Not one. These crazy ass white dudes coming from every single direction, showing up to these places, shooting people. They're violent, dangerous people. But they're not violent because they're white. They're violent because all they do is watch rhetoric that tells them they should fear everybody. And that's what Doc Ribbles was talking about. All they do is watch rhetoric that tells them they should fear everybody. They're coming to take you ain't got shit, homeboy. You have shit anybody wants, okay? All right? Understand that you don't have anything. America doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't care. America doesn't care about you. He cares about you a little more than he cares about me, which is shit. He doesn't care about me at all. He cares about you enough to know that you're too stupid to realize you can be used. Right? He does not care about you because he thinks that you're valuable. You think Donald Trump wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Ain't a conservative up there. From Charlie Kirk to who's the guy, the weirdo, that billionaire heir, Tucker Carlson. You think these guys would piss on you if you were on fire? They get on TV. You are dumb enough to let them get on TV every single night. They making millions of dollars on your back. They get up on TV and cry to you about how much they care about what you're going through. Well, they're trying to take America from you. They're trying to take America from you. First and foremost, I'm sorry. Your shit goes to the bottom of the pile. Okay? Women are being raped, beaten, killed, right? Taken advantage of in workplaces where they feel like they have to, whether it's implied or deduced. These women feel they have to do certain things to go beyond a certain part in their life, and they feel if they do not treat people who are being blatantly disrespectful to them with respect they don't deserve, then it somehow puts them on a bottom pole. And a lot of times they got to make a decision between their morals and their careers. That's something women got to deal with. That's some hard shit to deal with, right? Asians in this country, people looking at them as less masculine, easy targets to be bullied and picked on and taken advantage of. Those people deserve to be taken. Those are real problems based on your race, right? Hispanics, we don't even have to go into that. Them people leaving their war-torn countries where a lot of them are messed up because we sent people back over, deported people who were never from their countries to begin with, who we deported them back over there, and these criminals took over their countries who are from us. Now they're fleeing a mess we made, and yet we paint them as criminals and bad people, even though all the criminals come from our country. So it just blows your mind. MS-13, you should be afraid of MS-13. You gotta be afraid of you should be crazy. You should be afraid of crazy liberals because of Antifa. You should be crazy of black people because they're violent, and black people are more likely to kill you if you're white than you are to kill them if they're black. You should fear Spanish people because any of them could be illegal immigrants that are out to kill you. You should fear the government. You should fear doctors. You should fear all they do is teach these people to fear every fucking thing on the planet. You people fear aliens, freaking demons. These people are crazy. They're blowing their brains out at record rates because they're scared of everything and everybody. Because that's all. When you turn on their television, that is their selling card. That's why Donald Trump does it. I'm gonna keep you safe. I'm gonna keep you safe. I'm gonna keep you safe. Because their entire life they've been telling them their only plight in life, their only problem in life is to fear everybody. Don't go in bad areas. They have been taught the only way that they are safe is if other people are kept away from them. Don't integrate. You're bringing those guys over here. They're gonna start dating your daughters. They're gonna start sleeping. You know, they're good. You know, these guys are you know, it's like, you know, it's almost like women get trapped. You know, because black people and you know, women are just gonna start going to them. It's like, dude, come. Women aren't stupid. They go with who they want to go with. They don't go with somebody because of this. They're not children, but they can't understand that, right? So we have to protect them. We have to protect our wives, because they're gonna go into the forbidden black fruit, right? So our daughters and our wives, you know, they're gonna be trans. No, they're not. They're gonna go to who they like. They're not gonna go to people because they're black. But it doesn't matter. That's what they fear, everything and everybody. When you get and their rhetoric is constantly, well, it should happen because you should fear. Well, yeah, the cop is right. He should fear them. I mean, what are you talking about? Of course he should fear them. He's one of the bad black guys. He has a criminal record. Of course he should fear him. He had unpaid child support and a DV charge, domestic violence charge. Yeah, he's Hitler. But to them, there's only good black people and bad black people. There's no conflating the two. Good black people, bad black people. And if you do anything that steps outside of that good boy label, that's one of the bad ones. He should have got shot. He's being uppity. He's talking back to the cop. He should have got shot. They are watching the tape never to see humanity. They're watching it because to them it's like you telling them that their basketball team is not good. So their end game is not. So they give up stuff that is unavoidable, right? It's unavoidable that you have to say George Floyd, the guy who killed George Floyd, was a fucking idiot, right? You have to say that. You have to be crazy not to say that. But in their own fashion, they came back up and said, yeah, it was wrong, but let's really stop trying to act like this guy had a great quality of life. He was a bad person to begin with. So my end game is was to come on here and just say, black people who care about you, care about you. People who don't conflate the two, right? The NBA is trying to show they care. Whether they're doing it for monetary gain or not, they're trying to show they care. The guys that you're trying to reach with this boycott, they don't give a shit. They're never gonna care. They don't care because you're talking about their favorite basketball team. You're talking about their favorite sports team, which is America. And if you have ever dealt with sports, man, you know how irrational people are about teams they care about. That's exactly how. A lot of them, third, fourth generation, ain't never been in America. They ain't been in America 5 minutes, but they're more American than you are. Who you been? Your ancestors been here since we hit the dirt. But they're sitting up here telling you about what it is to be American. Homeboy, my ancestors don't been here for 400 years. Your last name is Pulaski. What the hell do you know about being American? You're 3 generations moved from a Polish fucking immigrant, and you telling me what it means to be an American because you're white, and you've been grandized into this bullshit narrative that America cares about you, and that's the reason why you don't give a shit about anybody else, because you're like a spoiled child who thinks America gives a shit about you. You're like a child America's like a fucked up family, right? And these dumbass white people are like the child who gets molested just as much as everybody else, but they've drunk in the Kool-Aid, and their father tells them they molest them because they love them. I molest you because I love them. All those other kids, they're bad kids, but they're saying what we're that molestation is bad, and we all know that molestation is bad. We molest you when you're happy, right? You don't need health care. Let your uncle die. You don't need money. Let your house get stolen. Daddy needs to pay the hooker. You know, daddy needs to play the hooker, so, you just continue to be molested. And they're like idiots. Okay, daddy, thank you for molesting me. You don't molest me as bad as the other ones. You do nasty, dirty things to them, but you only do kind of nasty, dirty things to me. So no, they kind of do the same shit to you. They just call it something else. They don't have to trick you. You don't get punished. You don't get beat as much as the other kids because you just go along with stuff. And because they know they can get you to go along with anything by just telling you that it's the best thing for America. As long as they use the word America, you're so racist that your mindset says white people. So you're going to go with anything as long as America is attached to it. At the end of the day, that's all I got to say on the subject. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's terrible. But what can you do? Anyways, y'all, comment. Let me know what you think. Holler at me. It's crazy. With this world we living in right now, with all this craziness going around, COVID and these stupid ass cops shooting people every 2 days because you got a bunch of freaking people being freaking suburban white kids getting thrown in the middle of ghettos, and we surprised that they shooting the minute something scary happens to them. These fucking guys are from suburbs. I'm gonna throw them in the middle of ghettos and say, go police that area. Oh yeah, and try not to be scared. Yeah, no, fuck you. I'd never been in a place like this before. In my apartment, I grew up in a freaking place where the worst thing happened was somebody got a parking ticket. But now I'm gonna put you in the middle of a freaking gang rape, and the only thing I've ever seen was only thing I know about the ghetto was a bunch of fucking movies that tell me I should fear everybody and everything in the ghetto because they're mean and they're dangerous and they kill you for no reason. So anyways, like I said, crazy world. But comment, let me know what you think, y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.